So today I'd like to talk to you about the incline curl. A lot of people that I've watched in the gym do the incline curl, they do it, a lot of different ways. Some people will try to do the incline curl like this. They'll put the seat down too low. They'll put it down too low and do an extreme range of motion. And what happens when they do this is that their arms are way back, and they're actually stretching a lot of the delt and a lot of the tendon attachments and insertion points, but they're not actually stretching the muscle belly itself, right? So the point is to get the muscle belly to actually take the stress, not, up here at the shoulder or down here in the elbow. So there are a couple ways to get around this on the incline curl. And one of the ways I'll show you is to have the appropriate setting for the incline. You don't want to have it too shallow and you don't have it too upright, because if it's too upright, for obvious reasons, you're just doing an upright curl. You're just doing like a standing curl, right? Dumbbell curl. And although, sitting, you might be getting rid of the swinging and so forth, the incline curl has a separate purpose altogether. It's about keeping the tension on the muscle belly and having an adequate stretch on the belly itself. Because the bicep doesn't cross just one joint, it crosses both joints, the shoulder and the elbow. So when you also straighten the arm, not all the way, but when you straighten the arm, and then you also bring the shoulders back, you are actually getting more of a stretch in the muscle belly and therefore getting more gains. So first I'll set the incline up appropriately, okay? Usually I find about a 45-degree angle is appropriate, right? Here, this could work a little bit lower. I know it's kind of hard to measure the angles on this thing, but this would feel a little bit too low for me. But I have done this angle before. I would just start off with really lightweight just to make sure I'm not feeling my shoulders. The sure sign is if you feel the stress in the shoulders or you're feeling it right here, then you might be going down too low. Okay, too shallow on your incline. So you just set the incline up appropriately, like this, and yeah, we'll start. So yeah, here I am in the incline, and I could tell by sitting in the incline right now that I'm a little bit too steep. I like to usually have it down just a little bit more, a little back a little bit more. But because my incline only has so many settings on it, this is kind of what I'm stuck with for now, so I'll stick with that. But yeah, so what I want to do is show you just a couple variations of the incline curl. It's pretty simple really, but there are a few little tricks you can do to assist with keeping some of the stress off the bicep tendons if you have bicep tendon problems. Because, it's always nice to know a couple ways to tweak the exercise so that you can find what works for you the best. So anyway, I'll just do 20-pound dumbbells just for tutorial reasons here. I don't have to impress any of you guys. It's been pretty clear that I won't impress you anyway, so what's the point of trying? So anyway, here we go. So here's a bicep curl right here, just up like this. Now you can rotate out or in, it's up to you. Either way, you're actually hitting the biceps pretty hard. You're just adjusting, which head of the biceps you're gonna hit a little harder. I found a lot of great development just from coming out like this. Now you can keep the arms like this if you wish, okay? You can keep them like this. Rotated up, or supinated is the proper term, supinated, okay? But if you notice that you have a lot of stress in the elbows or maybe some elbow pain or something, then you might benefit just from rotating it in at the bottom and then coming up. So it just takes the stress off that one muscle just for a moment in the stretch position. That's really what you're doing. You're transferring the stress to the brachii, or from the brachii to the brachialis, and then back to the brachii again. Okay, so this might alleviate any sort of elbow pain you may be having. But if you don't have any problems, this is actually a nice variation, just like this. And I always keep the arms slightly bent at the bottom, especially if I'm going to keep supinated. I always keep it slightly bent. I never totally straighten. I know there's a few strength coaches, they recommend straightening totally. And you could do that, but if you do have shoulder instability, because the bicep crosses the shoulder joint, it may put extra stress on the stretch, and there's some wobbling going around there. So sometimes your bicep is stretching and contracting in little ways as your shoulder might be popping in and out of the joint a little bit, and I know this from experience, straightening your elbow might not be the best option, right? So I never really recommend stretching the bicep or stretching any muscle for that matter, and then locking the elbows out. So I always keep the tension on. So that's why I keep slightly bent. Slightly bent always keeps the tension on the muscle. So the more constant tension you get, the more gains you get. I hope this helps you out a bit. And feel free to leave a comment down below or a question if you have one, and I'll see you soon.